at the Players' Championship. The Rocket remains the man to beat as he goes in search of his 5th ranking title of the season. Llandudno is the backdrop as 16 of snooker's finest battle it out.
Come on, take my hand if you need that snuggle on the door. You gotta stop your mind from a dream and live your life some more. Find my way, free my soul. Wide and water, shine light on my time. If you think you make a fool out of me, I got a little something up my sleeve. I can think of better places to be. So get yourself down on the street.
Great Ormond Llandudno really is a beautiful backdrop for this championship. This is the draw for the 2018 tournament. The top 16 on the one-year ranking list will compete for a first prize of £125,000. Number 1 seed Ronnie O'Sullivan will be in action tomorrow night. He faces Graham Dott, while defending champion Judd Trump will start his defence against Stephen Maguire on Wednesday. Welsh Open winner John Higgins will face fellow countryman Anthony McGill, while number 1 Mark Selby will play recent Romanian Open winner Ryan Day, while another Welsh favourite Mark Williams faces exciting Chinese prospect Yan Bingtao. And the headline act this evening sees Masters champion Mark Allen against China's number 1 Ding Junhui, while on table 2 an all-English affair as champion of champions victor Shaun Murphy takes on Kyron Wilson. And joining us all this week, Alan McManus, Neil Folds, and I'm delighted to see our special guest, Joe Perry. Welcome all, but especially Joe, good to have you with us. You've won this title, you've got your name on the trophy. It's a little bit different to when you won it a couple of years ago, but still it's one in the sights of the players, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. It's a big event. You know, when I won it, it was all qualifying was done through the PTC Championships, but a similar sort of thing. It was a race from the start of the season, but this year it's all done on money earned, so that's why you've got probably the 16 most informed players here. And of course, I know you'd love to be playing, but you are with us all week, and you've had a mixed season so far, but you've just come back from Gibraltar. Yeah, mixed season, no real highlights, just pretty solid all the way through. But I think everyone here this week's either won a tournament or got to a final, and I haven't done that. That's why I've just missed out. But yeah, good run in Gibraltar, lost to the form man Ryan Day, but yeah, it's been an OK season. One eye on Sheffield already, I'm sure. Well, I was saving it all for Sheffield. But it's a slightly different format. Best of 11 frames, Neil, here this time, as opposed to, I think last year it was best of 9. Yeah, I think this deserves to be best of 11. You know, we have a lot of best of 7 formats which end up in longer matches. This tournament has got something about it, I believe. It's almost an extension of the one in Preston, the World Grand Prix, because these are the top 16 informed players, as Joe pointed out quite rightly. So every match is like a final, really. And Alan, if there is an informed player, it's Ronnie O'Sullivan. Top seed here. He's won more money than anybody in the season, hasn't he? Yeah, and he's going for his 5th ranking win of the season, which only Ding and Stephen Hendry, excuse me, have done in the past. So it's a big week for him, leading up to obviously the World Championship, which is on the horizon now for the players. And as Joe said, every player here has pretty much won a big tournament this season, so difficult to be here, and every match is a blockbuster. Everybody likes coming to Llandudno. That sea air is going to sort you out this week, Alan. Very much. It's already got my throat, so we'll see how his way going. I mean, is there anybody in the draw capable of beating Ronnie? Yes, absolutely. He's got a few of them over the barrel at the moment. You know, he's been beating everybody. You know, Graham Dott's gone the same way as a few others recently to Ronnie. But of course there are. Yeah, I mean, you've got the world champion in there. You know, Mark Selby. Lots of players, and Ryan Day's just won the last 2 tournaments in the space of a week. So there are plenty of players that can beat him. Yeah, he's really hit a bit of form, hasn't he, Ryan Day, Joe? Yeah, he won a tournament right at the start of the season. It's given that a little bit of confidence. He's juggled around with a few cues, but I think he's found one he likes now. Well, he must have done, because he's won the last 2 events. You know, he's a confidence player. He attacks the balls, and if he's confident, he is a big match for anyone. I'll tell you somebody else who attacks the balls, and that's Mark Allen, whose breakthrough win in the Masters really catapulted him onto the top of the scene. So he was talking earlier to Phil Yates.
Mark, it's been 2 months now since you won the Masters. Tell us what the feeling was like when you captured the title and you knew you were going to lift that trophy.
More relief than anything. I wasn't quite sure if Kyron was going to play on the way the points were, so I didn't know whether to celebrate or not, so it was a bit of a muted celebration at the time, but yeah, it was more relief just to finally win one of the big three.
It is one of the very biggest tournaments in snooker. Does that raise expectations and therefore pressure, or does it raise confidence?
Probably both. Being Masters champ, it's great, but there's added pressure that comes with it. But the confidence that I've got from winning that tournament, it raises any doubts that there was there in the back of your mind that will I ever win one of those big three. So I've done it now, so the monkey's off my back, so I just need to push on and try and win some more now.
And really good also that you joined another couple of Northern Ireland legends, Dennis Taylor and Alex Higgins, in winning the event.
Yeah, obviously I'm proud Northern Ireland man, and I follow in the footsteps of Alex and Dennis for many, many years. I've been talked up probably wrongly in the past, in the same light as them two, but I feel now that I'm deserving of that accolade, and it's up to me now to push on and win a world title like they both did, and obviously Alex won too. So until I finally win a world title, I don't think I'll see myself as Alex or Dennis, but I'm going in the right direction.
But you won a big tournament on UK shores before this event a couple of years ago.
Yeah, no, I wasn't here to defend my title the following year, so it's a bit of a kink in the system, that, and look, it is what it is. It rewards the players that are currently on good form, and 2 years ago I played some real good snooker, although I could have easily went out first round to Mark Davis if I remember correctly, but played really well after that, and I think I deserved the win. But look, that's 2 years ago now. I have to get my head down and try and win again this year.
No hiding place in this event, 16 elite players, and you've got Ding first up.
Yeah, they don't come much tougher, and we've had some great battles over the years, me and Ding, and he's a really nice guy, someone I get on really well with away from the snooker. And we spent a lot of time travelling together when we first come onto the scene. We're based at the academy in Northampton, and he's a really good guy off the table. So some people don't really see that side of him, but he's an ultimate competitor on the table, so I'm going to have to be on tip-top form.
Yeah, huge victory for him in that Masters. It's been a big week for the Irish, good week for them at Cheltenham, Neil, and of course winning the Grand Slam. And he's a real confidence player, isn't he? It's had a big impact on him winning that first Triple Crown event.
Certainly, no ranking points for that event. That's the only downside. That's the only possible downside of winning the Masters, because he actually loses those points from 2 years ago this week. So he might end up not playing in the World Championships as of right. He might have to qualify. When you're the Masters champion, I don't suppose that matters too much, and he's got every right to be delighted with that. But he needs to do well in ranking events because, as I say, he drops a long way down this week. So this match against Ding tonight means a lot to him. Nobody wants to qualify for the World Championships if they can help it. I think if he did have to qualify, he'd get through, but that's neither here nor there.
We think he's probably no player has won the Masters not automatically qualified for the Worlds that year, Alan. I'm sure if I'm wrong with that, somebody will tell us. But is there an argument for the Masters to be a ranking event?
Not for me, actually. I mean, that's for another day, that argument. But I don't think it'll worry Mark Allen. I think Ding Junhui almost won the World Championship a couple of years ago as a qualifier. I think Mark Allen would be capable of that if he's going to win it. I don't think it's a big worry for him, but the chances are he will make it. So
You know him well, Joe. What's he like to play against?
Yeah, he's tough. He's got a great temperament. And when he's on his game, he's one of the best break builders we've got. He really tries his hardest. There's no weaknesses in his game, really. It's just got the lot. It's just sometimes it doesn't always show up.
I love to watch him play. He's quick around the table, but also he shows his passion. You could see what it meant to him when he won that title. Do you think he's changed in any way as a result of that?
Since the Masters, he's got big headed. Is that what you mean?
Oh, right. The way there's a bit more pressure on him now. He's much more watched and marked.
I know what you meant, really. No, I think he's maybe there's extra pressure on him now. That's the point. He's there to be hunted, if you like, because players want to beat him. But I think he needs a good run this week. This is an important match for him tonight against Ding Junhui.
And Ding, of course, another hugely quality player. Barry Handy's not the only one who said this is a potential world champion in waiting.
Oh yeah, well he's been that for a good 5, 6, 7 years now. People are sort of still wondering why he hasn't won it yet. He is one of the best ever. But sometimes you just don't know with Ding. Sometimes he looks like his heart's not really in it, and he just sort of falls away quite easily at tournaments. But other times he's just a well beater, isn't he?
It's interesting, isn't it, Alan? Because he, as we saw in Preston at the World Grand Prix, he was in great form all the way to the final. But in some matches and in some tournaments, you see him as if he kind of loses interest or loses concentration in a way. Yeah,
I was surprised that he got a heavy doing from O'Sullivan in the final, quite frankly, because he put Mark Selby to the sword up there, and he completely outplayed Mark Selby. For Ding, it's all about attitude. His attitude's got to be spot on. the way it generally is, but as Joe mentioned, he sometimes he plays a bit wishy-washy mentally as much as anything else, and you can't do that at this level. And the other thing, the worry for me tonight is he's not been in good enough form for long enough periods this season, and compared with Mark Allen.
OK, well, we'll soon find out, because coming up on the other side of the break, we'll get the snooker underway. With two polished performers on opening night, the Pistol Pete, Mark Allen against Ding Junhui.
We would like to blaze a trail for English football.
You think you're worth all that money?
I never paid it, I don't know.
We thought we could win every game.
Show me anything connected with Trevor.
He should have allowed me to go to the final. He really should have.
I couldn't care less, really, whether people like me or otherwise.
The hairs on the back of their necks still come up.
We had players with big characters.
The 6th time in 6 years, the European trophy back on English soil.
Yeah, a real treat for football fans. Coming up at the end of the month, a look back at the golden era of English success in Europe. A two-part documentary starting on the 29th and concluding on the 30th of March, both at 9 o'clock on ITV4. But next, two familiar faces going head-to-head. It has been 5 years since the last ranking meeting between these two, and you have to go back to 2010, the last time they met in a best-of-11 frame match. That came at the Chinese Open. Ding Junhui was the winner on the day. He holds the advantage in the heads-to-heads with 6 wins to 3. We'll also bring you updates from the other match being played tonight, Shaun Murphy up against Kyron Wilson. In the commentary box, Alan McManus is alongside Phil Yates for this opening match. But first, to introduce both sets of players, our MC, John McDonald.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You've joined us live on ITV Sport from the venue Cymru in Llandudno. Hello, welcome along to the Ladbrokes Players' Championship, all brought to you by World Snooker. 2 tables of action, so it's time now to meet our players. Joining our referee, Yan Shears, on table number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the former Shanghai Masters champion, ladies and gentlemen, Kyron Wilson! And now, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the inaugural Players' Champion and the winner of the Elite Triple Crown, the Magician, Shaun Murphy! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us on table number 1, our referee in charge is Mr. Ben Williams. And now it's time to meet the players. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of 3 ranking events from Northern Ireland, the newly crowned Masters champion, the Pistol, Mark Allen! And now, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, China's number 1, the winner of 13 ranking events, the incredible Ding Junhui!
It is quality all the way, this Players' Championship of 2018. Over the course of the next week, we have 14 matches that might well be a final before the actual final on Sunday. And this is no exception. Ding against Mark Allen in the first round. How cutthroat is that?
Thank you for the first frame. Ding Jun Wee to break.
Yeah, it's a brilliant match to get us underway this week in the Players' Championship, which these players have been chasing a place in since the very start of the season. Back in, I think it was late May our season started, so we're finally here.
Well, right into the heart of the pocket. Sweetly struck. That's precisely the start that players want to make. Just a pity the cue ball so close to the side cushion, limiting his positional options from the blue.
Just first glance there,
six.
Always watch the bed of the table. It doesn't look overly quick as far as running out early signs, but still get through this gap here for the black.
Seven.
You see the cue ball almost coming to quite a sudden halt. Interesting, something to just keep an eye on.
We're right on the seafront here in Llandudno, and those winds, I can tell you, have been
14.
Bone-chilling over the last few days. Even though today the sun's been out. Wall-to-wall sunshine, in fact.
15.
Really cold, and maybe that's influencing the pace of the table. I think as the week progresses and the lights beat down, it will get quicker and quicker.
20.
Yeah, the soft cushions actually help this shot here. Mark Allen playing for a low black. And you
21.
see the soft bounce, he was pretty much guaranteed a decent angle now. Quite a big shot early on. And catch the extreme left-hand red here. And be pushing at least 2 or 3 other reds into play. Just wants to catch it probably half ball.
It's not very often, Alan, you come into a tournament in which every single player involved has a chance of lifting the trophy, a realistic chance. But this is certainly one of those, and Mark Allen
29
has to be regarded as a potential winner.
$34. Mark Allen, 34.
Not quite the start to this match that these two had when they played in the PTC Grand Final in Galway in the Republic of Ireland in 2013. That was one of the most remarkable matches ever, and that's not an exaggeration. Ding made a 147 break in the first frame. He then had runs of 138 and 81. Mark Allen forced a decider with a 125 break, and then Ding made another century, 108, to win it 4-3. If they can replicate that level of brilliance tonight, we're in for a treat.
This is actually not that bad a situation for Ding. Eventually these reds are going to get pushed into open play. So there's no panic from his side of things. He was 34 behind. He would rather the reds are a wee bit more open than Mark would.
And Alan, I think it's fair to say that the players will be relishing best of 11s, breathing space from the start.
Yeah, that's been a really good decision, isn't it, to make it best of 11 from the off in the Players' Championship. Fair enough, the Grand Prix was best of 7s. As we see, the red's been opened up now, so pressure on Mark if he takes on a red. But yeah, going back to that, it gives players time to settle into the table, settle into the match, and definitely a good thing. As Mark contemplating taking, he wants to take the red on to left middle, but he's not really under any pressure to take it on, being 34 in front. In the end, I don't think he will. You only take a red on at this level if you absolutely have to. And he doesn't have to, so why play it? Red off the blue, and he's hoping to push something safe. Thing now for Ding, alright, he got the reds out in the open, but in a few safety shots time you'd think there'd be a few balls safe, which obviously isn't going to help him. And as he left this red on for Mark Allen, I think he has. That's why Mark Allen refused the red his last visit to the table.
One.
And now already 35 points to the good from here, with the reds as they are, with the colours as they are. Allen will be fully expecting to take a 1-0 lead.
Six. Seven.
I can tell you that Sean Murphy, who's been struggling with neck and back problems, has made an explosive start on the other table. He leads Kyron Wilson 1-0. There he is, sitting there very satisfied with every justification. He's won the first frame with a break of 115. On worldsnooker.com last week, there was a lengthy article in which Sean was saying he might not be here. He was in such a bad way, but that start suggests that things are looking up.
Yeah, he's actually got a hold of his left shoulder right now. Sitting in his chair, I don't know if we could see that, but just sort of you see him there kind of wincing. Yeah, he's not
20.
happy with it, so something to keep an eye on.
21.
Although I've got no medical degrees whatsoever, I think the best form of pain killing is 115 break, though. Maybe 147 is even better, but you know what I mean. Again, the slowness of the bounce off the cushion, just scuppering
25.
Allen slightly, leaving himself thinner on this red than he wanted.
Yeah, it's the kind of shot you get a kick on if you drop it in. That's why he's, you know, he may even play for the black. Yeah, he has done. Clever
26.
shot that. You see, if he plays it dead weight for blue, it brings a kick into play. So these players are always thinking out there.
.67 in front, 67 on the table, so it's
34.
really straightforward red. Is frame ball.
$34.
As I said in the studio, just for me, I think Mark Allen's general form this season's been far better than Ding's. I think he's, for me, was a good favourite coming into this match. Although, you know, Ding, well, he's won more titles and all the rest of it. But as I say, Mark Allen just looks in good form. He always looks like he's prepared as well.
39.
Another thing about Mark, works hard in the practice table.
Mark Allen, 39 and the frame.
The missed red, too late to save Ding. And so it breaks a 34 and then 39. Mark Allen wins the first frame. Ding didn't pot a single ball. In North Wales, at the moment, Northern Ireland leads China 1-0. Mark Allen, an agreeable start. No
Thank you,
great
frame two.
spectacular
Mark Allen
snooker
to
by
win.
any means, but breaks of 34 and 39. He took the first frame by 73 points to 0. Ding yet to have a sniff.
Almost a carbon copy of Ding's break off in frame one. Even a very similar red if Mark Allen knocked in.
One.
Again, it just shows you at this level, doesn't it? You leave that cue ball 18 inches shy of the baulk cushion. These players are liable to just knock one in. I know the game's all about scoring now, but safety is so important, especially at the very top level.
6.
So first chance for Ding, hand on the table. What can he make of it? See, the cloth's playing a wee bit on the slow side.
7.
That's nicely played, good angle.
That shot just underlines why he's such a phenomenal break builder. Absolutely on the nose. What a split.
Yeah, and the other thing about it, the feeling that gives you as a player out there when you know, it's your first chance with hand on.
13.
You split them and they split in the blacks in the open, the pink spots in the open. And we see it again. Beautiful contact. See, just a nice little feeling that you think today just might be my day. A lot of times these players, they go into the pack, they don't land in anything that can be disheartening.
You alluded to Ding's inconsistency this season, Alan, quite correctly. And I think
18.
that's emphasised by the fact he's only made in competition 17 century breaks. Now, we're really late in the campaign. For him, that's a really small number.
Yeah. That's a measly amount, isn't it? Not just
19.
a player of Ding's class, the class of break builder we always talk about is cue ball, don't we? I don't think it's that he's playing that badly. I think his attitude has been found wanting at times. But he did show signs in Preston a few weeks ago, especially against Mark Selby, when he was put through the ringer that night, because Mark didn't play in his best. Ding had to tough it out, and in the end he did so, and that'll give him confidence
25.
the rest of this season. Tough matches like that. He made a very good one visit, didn't he, in the last the decider to win 6-5
26.
against Mark Selby. Yeah, now we can get the black into
32.
play. Just watch the cue ball here. Playing for black, but he'll probably play for black and pink.
$33.
And there you see the pink. This makes life a wee bit easier.
$39. $40.
It's been an in and out season really for Ding. Began really well when he helped China win the World Cup right at the start of the campaign. He also won the World Open in Yushan in his native land. But apart from that run to the final of the World Grand Prix last month, the rest of the campaign has been disappointing, rather like that positional shot.
Ding Junhui, 45.
Yeah, I don't quite know why he brought that red off the cushion, but maybe he felt he didn't have a better option. But 45 again, cushions on the soft side, and the bed not running out. Mark again, like the break-off shot, finishing around the baulk line. Before, you don't want to do that too often, not at this level.
One.
The soft cushions actually reminiscent of our first match here in Llandudno a couple of years ago. Don't know whether you recall it, Alan. It was when Peter Ebden played Neil Robertson. The table played very poorly, actually. Ebden got the verdict. We were quite worried, actually, about the way the table was playing, but as the week progressed, it became a beauty.
Seven. 8.
If ever wanted a demonstration of Ding's cue ball control. The last two shots, they didn't look an awful lot, but both were played to the absolute inch. Not only, I suppose, it's not just that his cue ball control's incredible, it's his understanding of all the little
14.
cannons and playing through little gaps. Not just judging it, it's seeing the shot before you play it.
15.
No. Expect him to miss this pink to far corner. 60 in front. Quite a big shot. And you can just about get to the middle of the cue ball, but this is a big shot. Probably 9 out of 10 normally. Yeah, no problem.
$21.
Well, the first two frames
22.
have followed a remarkably similar pattern. The break-off has left a red. The player has knocked it in. The winning player has basically secured the frame in a couple of visits. It was Allen in the first, Ding in the second. And the other similarity, the losing
28.
player won't have potted a ball in either frame.
29.
Well, I don't know about you, Alan, but I think his tempo is definitely a little quicker than it
35.
was in Preston. He seems to be getting down and playing the shots
36.
really decisively. A fact highlighted by his 19-second average shot time.
Yeah, he looks confident as well, doesn't he? That's the thing.
42.
That couple of shots I
43.
was talking about earlier, the pink especially that he played, held the cue ball beautifully for the red. He looks good.
Almost sensational, that positional shot.
Foul. Ding Junhui 50. 4. Mark Allen, frame. Ding Junhui.
A very efficient way to equalise. Mark Allen's lead was short-lived. It's 1-1. Ding making breaks of 45 and 50 to get back onto level terms. Welcome back to Venue Cymru in Llandudno, where it's 1-1 across the board. We've seen it's 1-1 on the main table. Kyron Wilson there has just drawn level with Sean Murphy on table number 2. A half-century break responsible for Wilson's
Thank you, frame 3. Ding Junhui to break.
second frame.
Yeah, and a better cue ball this time. What's the natural like, though? It looks suspiciously to me like if he played the pot in the red, the natural angle would be close to hitting that red on the left-hand side. That's what he's worried about. Just watch that red left of the black. He actually played that with check to avoid it. It's gone wrong, but for the black going safe, I suppose. As I say, I do believe he played that with just a trace of left-hand side.
One.
I think from Ding's quizzical look there, he fully anticipated the cue ball being on a better angle to pop this blue and obtain position, but he used the middle pocket bump exquisitely.
6.
Well conceived, Alan, and well executed.
Yeah, that was magnificent, wasn't it?
7.
No, similar shot. The last frame. No, he's played it well.
Foul.
Unfortunate. Unlucky.
Danger on way 7, 5, Mark Allen.
Yeah, nothing he can do about that. And he's left a choice of a couple of reds for Mark. He's going to have to trust to luck getting out for a colour playing this. He can't top it in. He's got to play a deep screw and hope he gets the right kiss on the red. That's not bad.
1. Six.
And if he's on this red, that is a stunner. That was a beauty. The only thing, again, topping it, he's probably not going to get the cue ball back up the table, so he's forced into screwing it. Can't push the black into play, I don't believe. Can he get the pink into play? He can.
7.
But does it go? No, sir.
So a slice of ill fortune in this frame for both players. Ding into the pack, knocking in a red unluckily, and now Alan's been unfortunate to block the path of the pink. On such subtle things do frames turn.
Yeah. And Mark, being the top player he is going to give this plenty of attention. He wants to pick the most awkward spot. He's not going to try and snooker ding, nothing like that. He wants to try and force him into playing a tough safety shot. I think the red that he wants to cover, the one below and to the left of the black, that's the one he wants to cover, and he's not covered it. So Ding can play this now. The red below the black spot and to the left of it. And straight away, that's the red that Ding's playing.
Razor thin. And worthy of the applause. Not just thin, but perfectly weighted.
Just keep an eye on these safety shots. You almost, with the soft cushions, you almost want to mentally overhit them, because the cue ball isn't going to go in and back out of bulk. You've got to give them plenty.
Foul. And a miss. Danger away 4.
Yeah. Right. Ding will be tempted with this red if he can avoid the cannon. How deep can he get in this cue ball, and how awkward is the bridging where the brown is?
Well, Allen just stood there. I think he thought he was going to be put back, but clearly Ding has other more expansive ideas.
Yeah, he's playing for the yellow into the green pocket and playing this. As long as he gets close to the pot. Oh, brilliant shot. There you see it. He played for the yellow. Has he stopped fast enough? No, not quite. Again, a good pot, isn't it? The sort of pot these players knock in when your eyes in, you kind of half fancy it.
Yellow ball. Danger away. 1.
You see again there, the safety shot coming short of the baulk cushion. He's got cover though. He's not left this red over left corner.
A really healthy first night crowd here at Venue Cymru enjoying this. It really is star quality all the way. When you look at the draw here, there's not a bad match amongst them. In fact, only tremendous matches. The format of this just cannot be faulted. Although that shot can. It was very difficult to judge and get the pot, and it's really backfired.
Yeah, he could play the red the right side of the table. He could play a safety off it, but he couldn't avoid leaving the red over left corner, so he figured I may as well. I'm going to go down here, go down being aggressive, but oh, the soft cushions have done for Mark Allen again.
1.
This is no good. It's a funny thing when cushions are on the soft side. Every shot it tests, not your ability, but it tests your concentration. You've got to think, right, give this another foot of pace. Difficult to keep doing it.
It's like a professional golfer actually putting on a green where the stimp meter is 9 when they're used to 11 or 12. It's right what you say. It's all about that mental approach. Being able to hit the cue ball hard enough to be on the pink is no problem whatsoever for Mark Allen, but it's muscle memory, what you get used to, and hard to get out of your normal rhythm.
Yeah, concentration is key. That's where players have to just deal with conditions constantly out there. They're not bad, they're just, say, a hair on the slow side. As you said earlier, Phil, the table will get quicker as the week goes on, cushions and the bed. Nothing to hide behind really, so again, just trying to pick the best spot in this baulk cushion.
Mark Allen 1.
I think you guys in the studio made a really good point about Mark Allen being under pressure in this match because of the World Championship implications. But I'm with you, Alan. Obviously, if he doesn't get into the top 16 seeds and he has to qualify for the Crucible, I personally believe he will do. And then pity the poor fellow who draws him in the first round.
Yeah, that's as I was saying, you know, with the guys in there. All right, just now it might seem a bad thing for a Mark Allen to have to qualify, but if and when he qualifies, which I agree with you, I think he will do, then you could almost argue that he's in the box seat. He's going to have a tough match anyway at some stage, so he might as well play a fellow top 16 player in the first round. They're the one that'd be under more pressure than him.
If he doesn't get into the top 16 in the rankings after the China Open, he will have to play 3 qualifiers, but they're 3 best of 19s against lower ranked opposition, and you'd fancy him in those. This time, though, the cue ball short of the mark.
Yeah, shot to nothing here for Ding. Cue ball up behind Green and Brown. Yes, it was always a good choice, that.
One.
He didn't really play on a colour, but it was a good percentage shot. No, that's not. That is
Foul.
not good.
Dangerous way 1.
Yeah.
4.
This is a smile by Mark Allen.
Well, if you remember, the last time we covered snooker here on ITV in the final against Ronnie O'Sullivan, Ding actually hit his brow into the table in frustration. This time, I think he's learned a lesson, just tapped himself with his cue, which is far less painful.
The horrible thing about that shot, apart from the obvious, there's pressure on it, but you never ever practice it. These players would never practice that shot. They would only actually practice it if it comes up in a game in the club against one of the other players, and it's just not a shot you play very often. Of course, when you do play it in the club, there's not the same pressure as there is out there.
The referee, Ben Williams, just looking to see whether the cue ball is in relation to the Reds and where it might need to be replaced should Ding fail to make contact. Of course, he could hit these Reds blindfolded, but it's not hitting them. It's hitting them in a certain way to leave Allen contained. And that's an entirely different proposition.
That was a super shot. He just played that there to catch the red and leave the cue ball somewhere near the left corner. But at least he tried a shot. That was the point to it. Only hit and hope if you absolutely have to. He's actually put a wee bit of pressure back onto Mark's shoulders. I don't think he's even taking a pot on, is he? No.
Already the lengthiest frame of the match so far, and there's still 7 Reds left. Well, almost in off, but had he found the gap there and gone in off, that would have been really unfortunate.
Yeah, should be okay. Mark Allen. Cross double safety. But he does have to get it on the thin side. I think he's playing the top red, the red nearest him. It might even bring both reds away from there. No, he got it all wrong. Far too thin. Certainly not the way he played it. Red near the pink spot be the one that Ding's playing. The only problem with it is he's considering a more aggressive shot. The reason being the red that he's playing, let's say near the pink spot here, he's going to struggle to get on a colour from it. Can he play it soft enough to still be on green? And that's what he tried. Credit to him for taking it on and being aggressive position wise. like that last red. These are a bit more difficult when you've just played it's not a long safety battle, but it makes the pot that wee bit harder, and it's did for Ding Junhui here. Funny, isn't it? That was halfway through a break and he was on about 30 or 40 odd. You'd fancy him to knock it in. A different shot after safety exchange, that type of shot.
One.
Again, halfway house. Green won't go. Blue is tricky.
Six.
One of those frames, Alan, where the balls are conspiring against both players. Nothing is coming easy for Alan or indeed Ding.
Yeah, this is a horrible, horrible little shot. Is he trying to play it dead weight? Oh, he is. Oh, a brilliant shot. That is good. Very good. Made it look easy, but it was far from it.
Yes, I think the lack of applause was because the red was so close to a pocket and gave an impression that it was easy when, as Alan said, it wasn't. That, though, was sloppy. No ifs, buts or maybes.
13.
Yeah, completely misjudged it, didn't he? Underhit it by a couple of feet. Needs a recovery.
$14.
Difficult, these little breaks in it when you keep landing awkward, missable shots almost every shot.
Mark Allen, 14.
You can't keep going to the well, eventually it will run dry.
One. Thank you.
Quite a scruffy frame, this, but they are just as important as the ones where you win in a single visit. With aesthetically pleasing snooker. In fact, psychologically, maybe a little bit more important. But as I said before, the ball's just not playing ball.
4. Ding Junhui, 4.
This is the kind of frame where certain players excel. Mark Williams comes to mind. Yourself, Alan. Stephen Hendry, our colleague, absolutely hated them. Lost a very high percentage.
Yeah, I think Mark Allen's always been excellent in these type of situations. Maybe not so Ding, but definitely in the last few years, Ding's knuckled down. He's definitely won his share of this type of frame. He's got a decision here. Does he play the cue ball in behind brown and yellow, or use blue and pink as a blocker? Yeah, he's almost checked that there and deliberately tried to bring the red back in behind the blue. That is a brilliant shot by Mark Allen. That was quite deliberate. Using pink and blue as blockers. Unlucky not to get the total cover. Funny, these players out there in these situations, they try to outfox one another, but they both know they're both trying to be outfoxed, so it's difficult. You know, you try to set a trap, but the players that are well schooled in this situation, they never really fall into it.
Rather like a chess match involving two grand masters who basically cover all the moves.
Yeah, Mark's thinking here, push the red back up. I don't think a double kiss is on, so push the red back up the table, but then he was worried about Ding snookering him in behind yellow and brown. That's why he played the shot he has done. Alright, he's pushed the red on, but I don't think Ding will fancy this all that much. And the thing is playing it. I think he's going to have to play it with a lot of pace. Getting back out for a colour makes it extremely missable. Will he decide to just drop it in? No, it's pace. Oh, what a shot. Oh, what a shot that is. Hand up an apology. He didn't play for the pink, but great result.
Well, he was very sporting, but when you pot a ball of that quality, you deserve a good kiss. Mark Allen, at the moment, sitting in his chair, thankful that he still
7
has got the lifeline, because where the yellow is.
8 14
I think he's considering, is it worth playing the deep screw and trying to shift it now? Well, he's not playing it anyway, so imperative he gets a good angle on a colour. Played for green.
15
And he's played it beautifully. Just wants to get this cushion first, but not an awful lot of pace. Keep the balls together. Brilliant shot.
Could be a frame winner, that. Ding
18
arrives on the colours. 4 to the good, so he needs yellow to blue. Jacking up, though, this is tough.
20 23
Yeah, and the fact that he doesn't need the pink makes this shot easier. Doesn't really matter where he lands on the blue.
27.
Not the highest break of the match, but the best break of the match. Of that there's no doubt, and maybe the most important so far. Ding has gone in front. He was 1-0 down. Now he leads Mark Allen by a couple of frames to 1. We've just seen a 28-minute frame, which was won by a lovely little cameo at the end from Ding Junhui, a break of 38. A clearance to the pink, which involved a couple of absolutely pinpoint positional shots in which he dropped the cue ball on a sixpence. Characteristic, really, because his control of the white, in the eyes of many, top 3 stuff, maybe even second to none. So Ding Junhui leads Mark Allen by 2 frames to 1. As for the other table, table 2, it's Sean Murphy and Kyron Wilson, still locked together at 1 frame each. The third frame, I can tell you, hanging in the balance. So 1 more frame to go here before they arrive at the mid-session interval. And Allen will be keen
Mark Allen to break.
To again tie the scores. Officially, Mark Allen starts this tournament as the world number 9, so you might be wondering, why are we talking about possible qualification for the World Championship? Well, the reason being, of course, it's a 2-year list, a rolling 2-year list, and the points he has to protect in this tournament, 100,000 points, because he was the 2015, or 2016 I should say, Players' Championship winner. If he were to lose this match, obviously that would be a blow to his top 16 aspirations, but he's still got another get-out clause, because if he has a good China Open in Beijing, the penultimate event of the season, all of those seeding worries will be dispelled.
Yeah, one player who I think I'm right in saying that Joe had mentioned earlier that Ryan Day is not in Beijing. Is that correct, or not sure?
That's right. He lost to one of Ding's younger fellow countrymen, Liu Haoshan, in the one qualifying round match they played in this country. So Ryan really does need a big result here.
Brown and a miss. Mark Allen 4.
Mind you, the way that Ryan Day's playing at the moment, who would put that past him? Wins the Gibraltar Open, then goes over to Romania and wins that yesterday. If you're unfamiliar with the scoreline, he overcame Stuart Bingham 10-8 in the final, did Ryan, winning the clinching frame on a respotted black. So he's won 11 consecutive matches coming here.
Yeah, it was good stuff, that, from Ding. Gave himself a little sighter the first time, being short. Knew that he was leaving Mark Allen this little tempter. He's not interested. Or is he? Well, he's playing the pot. Oh, great shot. Every credit.
I think that's one part of the professional game that people don't really understand just how good these guys are, because that kind of pot, they've got hardly anything to aim for, these pockets. middles, they are brutally cut, and you need to be so accurate, especially at that kind of relatively crisp pace.
Yeah, and also the fact that he was pretty much guaranteed leaving a red, wasn't he?
9.
As you say, 2-1 behind, mid-session interval coming up. They want to go 3-1 behind. That was a brilliant shot. You just can't get in a perfect position,
16.
Mark Allen. Just having to play a lot of
17.
half recovery shots again here. I'm not sure if he can drop on one. May have to risk a cannon. I think he could slip past it. Red goes to the middle. Yeah, that's better.
We've been extolling the virtues of Ding in terms of break building, although we have been saying his numbers in terms of centuries this season well down on previous years.
23.
Told you Ding had made 17 centuries in professional competition. Well, this season Mark Allen has made 47, just to give you some idea of how well he's played, how often. A lot of times, especially before Christmas, Alan, you'll know this as well as I do, he played really nicely in matches and was beaten by someone who played just a little bit better.
Yeah, he's been knocking on the door, there's no doubt about it, leading up to winning the Masters.
30.
A lot of good performances against a lot of top players, it has to be said, and maybe losing out, but credit to him. He keeps practicing hard, as I mentioned earlier. He does that. Keep chapping the door, eventually it'll open. No, that's a bad shot. That was a bad shot for Mark's player of Mark's standard. If he's on the red to far corner, he's fortunate.
37.
Yeah, it still goes to far corner, but yeah, if you keep leaving missable ones, eventually you will miss one. Be disappointed with that. He got himself into decent position.
Score update from table 2, by the way. Sean Murphy, who won the first frame with a century against Kyron Wilson, is back in front, this time at 2-1.
Thank you.
Should be all right here. Send the red down this end, but no, once again
foul.
Making
Danger
all
away
right.
fall.
Ding was fortunate to leave him snookered, but again, for a player of Mark's class, he expected to catch that red.
Spider.
Yes, and having failed to make any kind of contact, he's been fortunate to leave the cue ball in a place where Ding needs the spider, the dreaded spider.
Yeah, there's not much good news about this, apart from not a lot to do with the cue ball. And it's like, probably get this more times than not, but it was far from easy.
Thank you.
Normal alignment goes out of the window when you're using that thing, and also it's so easy to dig down into the white and impart some unwanted side.
Foul. Danger away fall.
Yeah, now Ding is going to be taking this red on regardless. He missed a similar red that last frame. He missed it thick on the right hand jaw as we see it. He's playing in a different way, mind you. He's going through on and off the cushion for the black. And thick again.
So Ding happy to be 2-1 ahead, but not happy to drop below the benchmark 90% in terms of pot success. In their own minds, these guys expect at least 90%, don't they?
Oh dear. He's just going through one of those little periods right now, Mark Allen, where he's played a bunch of poor shots one after the other. Not like him, but eventually you're going to pay the price for it. You don't want to leave Ding around the pink spot. I've always thought actually with Ding, although he loves being in and around the black spot, I don't think there's a better player in the game. Just stunning reds in and playing off the pink.
Seven.
Yeah, so first things first here. Alright, the black's tied up and so are 2 or 3 reds, but get yourself back in the frame before start thinking about winning it in one visit or anything like that. Just try to one good positional shot onto the pink or yellow.
Thank you. So, Angel away, 7.
For a player of Ding's class, that was missed by a mile. Oh, we got close to it, really.
Strange old error-strewn frame. Both players guilty.
One. Calvin, 1.
He was concerned as soon as the cue ball hit the side cushion, knew exactly where it was going. But no damage done, apart from the fact he's given Ding the safety initiative. You're right, Alan. It's a succession of mistakes from Alan, isn't it?
Yeah, just in one of those little periods of the match right now, it means nothing's happening. Sometimes as a player out there, you just got to accept that it's gone a bit scrappy. Try and battle your way through it. Don't get me wrong, he will accept it because he's a fabulous temperament, Mark Allen. That doesn't mean it's easy to put up with.
The applause you've just heard is for Sean Murphy with a break of 133. A total clearance. He's taken a 3-1 lead over Kyron Wilson at the mid-session interval. There's a £5,000 highest break prize in this tournament, and that's an early candidate. Unlikely to stick, but nevertheless a marker has been laid down.
1.
Now a key shot coming up. Both reds will pass the left corner. This blue goes in. Genuine chance to win the frame. No, he's just struggling.
Mark Allen 1.
For some reason, he's just started struggling. He looked good early on.
I think, regardless of what happens in this frame, the interval will be like oxygen for Mark Allen. Badly needs it.
7.
Get the negativity out of the brain. Get the thought processes back to where they should be.
Yeah, and this time I think at the very least Ding is going to be right back in the frame by the time he gets to the difficult reds.
14. 15. 22. 23.
Yeah, every little helps. He's promoted that red 6 inches or so.
$30. 31. 38. 39.
And this is a big target now. A big target if he wants to shift it. Obviously being right-handed, he'd probably fancy dropping on it. Some days you feel like you're going to knock that red in, other times not so. Yeah, he's played to drop on it. That's pretty good. 18 points in front.
46. Danger and way, 46.
Just shaved the near jaw and refused to drop at that pace. That's a ball I expected him to get. It wasn't easy, but the way he was flowing, I thought that was in.
Yeah, I think you're right. He was flowing, wasn't he? No messing around. He almost didn't quite give it the care and attention you would expect.
As for Mark Allen, not a bad table for a counter-attack, with the obvious exception of the blue, which is quite awkward.
I think he wants to play the cue ball back down this end in behind pink and black, but using the right side of the table, but he doesn't want to promote that blue that Phil's talking about. There would be a danger of that, and that's why he's not playing it. Well, he has promoted it in a different way, so he's fortunate to get away with that.
Both of them seeing the funny side. We've seen some strange snooker in this frame. Really have. The first two frames were actually quite clean. But the third was a 28-minute slog, and this one has been full of misjudgments from both sides.
Thank you.
They are applauding a fluke. He didn't play that. Played to stun the cue ball in behind the green. So he's 19 in fronting. That means he needs blue and the yellow.
Six. Danger away, 6.
Yeah, Mark Allen will be thinking there at last if it had a decent rub. Things have been transpiring against him. And now, is this his chance? Not a good one, but a half chance. We know about his character and his bottle. I'm going to need it here.
Two.
Yeah, problem in this situation, Mark. I can't imagine he'll take the green on. The problem is that Ding only needs a ball. He only needs a look at a shot to nothing to probably win the frame. That's why Mark's taking his time. He's thinking, is this worth taking on? The answer's probably not, but as I say, the scoreboard sometimes, well, an awful lot of the time it dictates what shot these guys play. But he's going to bide his time and just try and tough this one out.
Mark Allen, 2.
trusting the table playing that shot. And as we saw, the table was true. The shot well executed. And being 22 points adrift, Alan can't afford to miss this. And he has. That's a typical first match of a tournament shot. Totally unaccustomed to the throw of the cushions.
Yeah. And if indeed Ding goes 3-1 up here, be a frustrated Mark Allen. I would imagine we'll go straight to the practice room and try and get the blood flowing in that Q arm. See, he looked decent early on, pretty sharp, but for some reason his form has just deserted him.
So Alan 26 behind, 25 on the table, 1 snooker required. Frame not over yet though. The only thing we know, a player of Ding's experience will not put anything on a plate for his opponent.
Yeah, the thing about this is Mark can use that pink for as long as he wants, almost, to just buy himself time to try and eke out some sort of decent chance to get a snooker.
I think a gap does exist. The pink came mighty close. Heart in mouth time there for Ding.
Yeah. Usually when you do that, either the cue ball or the pink does go in. You usually get what you deserve, and Ding probably deserved to. Something bad to happen there. There's no need to play it that hard. In actual fact, it's probably worked in his favour that the pink's now in sort of open play.
So back-to-back frames now in excess of 28 minutes. For these two, that's a real rarity.
Yeah, and Ding is going to have to be careful now. Well, good effort this. Unfortunate, not got the snooker, but Ding's going to have to be careful not to leave a pot in the green. And if he was to do that, then Mark Allen would definitely peel them off. Green, brown and blue, and in behind that pink, should he get the chance. It's not a bad idea for Ding to shift something here. Yeah, that'll do nicely.
3 on the frame.
Signed, sealed and delivered now. Ding will not be particularly enhamoured with the way he's played so far, but he'll be very content with the scoreline. And the reason for that, he leads by 3 frames to 1.
Well, we'll take a closer look at the opening exchanges in this first match of the Players' Championship with the thoughts of Neil Foulds and Joe Perry after the break. It's the first night of action in the Players' Championship here in Llandudno, and look at that, matching scores on both tables. Across on table 2, Sean Murphy leads Kyron Wilson 3-1 after a couple of really impressive centuries, 115 and 133 clearance to go 3-1 up. And on our show table, Ding Junhui is 3-1 up against Mark Allen. Joe Perry, Neil Foulds with me for this one. Joe, what have you made of those opening 4 frames? What have you learned, do you think?
Not a lot, really. It started off really good. I thought it was going to get a real free-flowing, open, high-scoring game. The first 2 frames were very good, but they both sort of lost their way a little bit. 2 scrappy frames to finish, but yeah, the Ding just seems a bit more positive, a bit more confident than Mark at the moment, and hence the 3-1 scoreline.
I'd agree. At the most important times, Ding has been slightly more positive. There's a few more things that he's done right. You tend to feel that there's a little bit of pressure on Mark Allen right now. A lot has been made of the fact that he could do with some ranking points. He loses all the points he got from this 2 years ago, and it kind of shows. He started positively, but for now, Ding is just ahead. But it's a long way to go because neither player is really taking the game by the scruff of the neck just yet. Yeah,
Mark Allen took the opening frame.
Good start.
Let's have a look at that opening frame because Ding Junhui made a very poor break-off shot here.
Yeah, same thing, Joe, wasn't it, in both frames?
Yeah, you don't know how fast the tables are before you hit a ball, but that was well short. You'd never expect to be that short, no matter how many times you played. But good, positive pot from Mark. Gets him nice and settled and confident.
I think the way the game's changed now, Joe. I mean, obviously we're going to see another shot here where he gets on the black, which I think Alan said in commentary is a very clever shot, and I would agree with him. But that red off the break-off shot, which we're going to see again in frame 2. The players don't miss those anymore.
No.
The same thing happens. This is a carbon copy, isn't it?
Yeah, you thought Mark might have learnt a little bit from Ding's break, but he didn't. He just basically copied what Ding done and left exactly the same shot, and Ding exactly the same result, just knocked the long red in.
It's not a penalty kick, they've got to be cued in well, but he got it nicely, and then in a minute I think we see one of his... Well, a shot that you liked. He played a beautiful shot into the bunch and really got things open, didn't he?
Yeah, so it looks lovely when it all comes good, but Ding's very, very good at that. He hits that pink full in the face, and look, the reds have opened. He freed the black as well, and you just expect him to go on and win the frame from there.
It took him a couple of visits, though. I think I like that shot because if that doesn't go in, there's an outside chance. It could go against him. This was a brilliant shot.
Yeah, it looked like the break was going to end at 1, and then he's sort of created that one. Very, very good shot. Normally an exhibition shot, but he's played it perfectly. Yeah,
and I'll tell you what he did here, Joe. He put his hand up, and I would not have been owning up to the... I'd have let anyone think I'd have played that,
Yeah, me too, because it looked perfect, didn't it?
This was a lovely cannon, because he got on the green nicely.
Yeah, he played them well. He took them last few balls well and finished off with that nice cannon. And then here, he didn't really have a shot. And he sort of thought he'd just take a chance, play it slow roll, and... I think it was more of a containing sort of safety shot, really, but it ultimately ended up winning the frame.
I thought that he could have gone up and down here, Mark. I thought he had a bigger target this way. He had to hit it, otherwise he needs snookers.
Yeah, we both thought maybe off the ball cushion it was a bigger target, and also going that way, I think there's more chance of him leaving a pot to middle or corner, but, well... he misjudged it, and that was that. Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of just at the most important times. Ding, that little roll up there was a really good shot in that frame, and he's put pressure on Mark Allen there.
He looks focused, Ding, doesn't he?
Yeah.
A little bit like he was in Preston, where he came in and he wants to be here, and he's engaged by it.
Yeah, normally matches like that, Ding. These are sort of matches Ding switches off when it's not free-flowing break building snooker, but he's stuck to his task tonight, and he's played the better sort of tactical shots towards the end of the frame, and he's nicked 2 frames on the spin.
And Mark Allen, well, whatever he's going to do in the break, he'll be kicking himself. He has made 2 or 3 mistakes.
Yeah.
He's helped Ding along.
Yeah, but these are best of 11s. You know, he won the Masters best of 11 all the way through, so there's plenty of time for a comeback, but it's got to start fairly soon. You know, if Ding gets away from him when they resume and he gets another frame under his belt, then he could be on his way out.
We'll be back shortly. We'll bring you the conclusion of this one very shortly. Ding Junhui leading Mark Allen 3 frames to 1 in this best of 11 round 1 encounter. Welcome back to Venue Cymru for the conclusion of our first round match between Ding Junhui and Mark Allen. Ding 3-1 up in this one. The winner will face either Ronnie O'Sullivan or Graham Dott in a quarter-final on Wednesday night. Neil Foulds has joined Clive Everton in the commentary box.
It was tempting to see this at the start of the evening as a match between a player who would like to win, Ding Junhui, and a player who needed to win,
Thank you, frame
Mark
5.
Allen, because of the
to break.
situation with regard to qualifying for the World Championship. Only 16 players are excused the jungle of the qualifying competition for the Crucible.
Yes, no one really wants to be involved in all of that, and of course, even if you do get through it, you will end up as a qualifier playing a seeded player in round 1, and that in itself would be something quite like to avoid.
And also the qualifying competition is pretty tight to the televised phase of the championship, and you don't want to expend too much energy qualifying.
Yeah, interestingly, when of course Ding went through all that a couple of seasons ago, he had his best run there, but I don't think that would apply to many players. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's something best avoided. And of course, Mark Allen in winning the Masters, as we said earlier, there are no ranking points for that. A great deal of prestige when you go into the record books, but it isn't a ranking event.
The £200,000 first prize was real enough. But it is odd that the Masters champion is in danger of not qualifying direct for the Crucible.
A final point on all of that, Clive. Mark Allen pointed out that he wasn't here to defend last year because he didn't make enough points throughout the season, which we've seen before. But of course, should he win, or should he be out the 16 come the Masters, he'll still be in as defending champion for that event. So he'll definitely be at the Ali Pali next year. That's a long way off for now. And this match is by no means done. 3-1, it's best of 11. And that is the beauty of these slightly longer matches, that you can fall behind by that sort of score and still win. That man's not over the line yet by any means.
Safety error, unless the cue ball creeps behind the green.
Yes, I think that the table, just to my eye, I don't think it's all that slow. I think the cushions are a bit sluggish. I think the cushions are not really bouncing as the players are expecting. I think the bed's all right. As we saw, that cue ball just kept going there. It's just taking them a little bit of time to really adapt. First day table isn't quite bedded in yet, perhaps.
Difficult to say why Allen finds himself in such desperate need of ranking points. He started the season pretty much okay, with a quarter-final, a semi-final and a final, but since then he's had a series of disappointing finishes. Knowing that the blue on the middle spot would provide the necessary diagonal to cover the red near the right corner. Again covering the danger red.
Get the feeling that if it gets into a safety battle, it doesn't really suit Ding Junhui, but that match where he beat Mark Selby in Preston in the semi-final, I thought he held himself together brilliantly against a great match player to beat him.
One.
But it turned out in that instance that Ding made the safety error, which gets the frame moving.
Yeah, so it was just a gap through to that red. Not a simple table. I think going up onto the highest available, the brown, it's not in his favour just yet. It will be tough to win the frame here, although I think the pink spot is now free if he decides to pot it at some point in the break.
$13. $14.
Even that shot, that's not good. He's not a very nice angle. In fact, he's virtually straight. Little shots like that, if you keep getting top side of the blue, the game is a lot easier than finishing in the middle of the table all the time. He's tried to hold the spot, and I think he snookered himself. That's the worst outcome that you can think of. It didn't look very straight to hold the spot, actually.
19.
Definitely tried to hold this so that the blue would go on the highest available, which is the pink.
So a self-inflicted snooker.
Wow, and a miss.
Amazing,
Mark
isn't
Allen,
it?
19 for Ding Junhui.
A fraction short of a couple of reds there. It'll go back, and I don't think it will be a problem. It's just the 4 points that may come in to the equation at the end of the frame, I suppose.
No, it's not a problem, but it does show that the table is running slightly more slowly than they're used to. There have been quite a few shots this evening where the cue ball has ended up a roll or two short of where the players expected it to be.
He'd like touching ball, and he's got it. So he hasn't got to hit a red now. He can play away from red because he's touching one, and it suggests that Mark could be in trouble here. Swinging the cue ball, I think, around at least 3 cushions. Maybe in behind the green, or certainly getting the cue ball to the cushion somehow. Oh, he should have done better than that. That's a poor shot.
Good solid pot in this important frame. It's one of snooker's eternal truths that there's a big difference between 4-1 and 3-2.
6. 7.
Once again, he'll be very frustrated. It's the second time in this frame he's finished just the worst angle. Just slightly off straight, and he'll do ever so well to get this round the angles here. It was never going to happen, was it? Position is everything in this game. When you see a player make a century break and he doesn't seem to play a difficult shot, it's not because he's lucky, it's because he's a great positional player. Right now, Mark, who's usually absolutely inch perfect, is struggling.
Mark Allen, 12th.
He is, but he has struggled 27 points in front. Behind the pink and green was a good target for that safety. Good reply from Ding. And although that long pot was on, it was eminently missable.
Yes, he's actually done well not to leave anything easy there. Ding, it's not inconceivable he played the double to the right middle here. I'm not saying it's the right shot because he can easily glance off the red up into bulk and maybe make things dangerous. I wonder if he'd look at the double, screwing back for the black. It would tremendous value there. And the only red you could stick if he hits it right will be the one he played. He might play this. Well, the far jaw is the biggest concern every time. As I said, it's the only red he could stick was the one he was playing. I think he's possibly left a cut back here.
One. 3. 4.
You might have heard a short burst of applause. It signifies that on the other side of the arena, Sean Murphy has extended his lead over Kyron Wilson to 4-1.
11.
This time he's put that little bit extra into the shot to get the other side of the blue, which he'd been, as I said earlier, struggling with. Just got to find himself adapting quicker, I think, to the tables. Just punch the balls a bit more, just put a bit more into them, whatever the conditions need. It's amazing, isn't it? You see
17.
Players like Mark Allen, he keeps going around to clubs around the UK, playing exhibitions on all kinds of tables with army blankets instead
18.
of cloths on them. Seems to be knocking in 147s. It's amazing how you can adapt to whatever's put in front of you. I think you just expect these tables to be very lively. It's nothing like what he played.
23.
.50 in front though, so not far from home in this fifth frame of a possible 11.
Yeah, but it should be over, Clive. If he still, there is still the margin for error. But, he's got that lead, but another mistake could still cost him. Well, that might be enough now. That shot
24.
should seal things, but he needs to win frames, I think, in one or two visits if he's going to step up enough to win this match.
.31. 32. 39. 40.
Well, Alan got almost 30 in front in bits and pieces. Sundries, you could almost say.
45.
And he's polished off the frame.
46.
With this break of 46, with more to come.
.53. 54. 61. 62. 67.
Can't make a century. Not enough balls left.
69.
No, but this is better.
72.
This is a bit more free-flowing than what we saw earlier in the frame. As you said, he needed this one quite badly.
Mark Allen 72 and the frame.
So with that 72 break, Mark Allen takes the 5th frame, but still trails by 3 frames to 2. Ding Junhui's lead reduced to a single frame then.
Wow, that was meant to be a shot to nothing, but he hit it so thin. He missed the pot by a mile, and the cue ball, well, didn't find its way back up the table as planned. It wasn't good. But interesting, the thing about the positional side of the game, of course, that is where Ding has always prided himself on his immaculate cue ball control. So we'll see what he can make of this chance.
Six. 7.
Needs to reassert himself after being frozen out of the last frame.
Well, it's always a risk playing that shot. I mean,
14.
He could play on the red. I don't see any reason why he couldn't play on it, but he's hit it quite badly there. I'm not sure every player
14.
would have played the cannon there. The red was off the cushion far enough to knock it in along there.
I think you've got to be very sure that you're making the right contact on the cannon to play that shot, in preference to leaving the pot along the rail.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a time many years ago on some of the old tables pre-TV where the pockets were like mouse's ears and you wouldn't fancy potting them down the cushion. So you'd cannon them out into play, but I don't think they're quite like that.
One.
On that subject, Neil, Fred Davis and Walter Donaldson in the 1950s played for a whole week on a table in Blackpool, which was so tight the highest break was 80 for the whole match.
Yeah, I mean, the game has changed a great deal.
6.
One thing that has also changed is the balls are much lighter, and they were heavy old things back then. Pretty sure there were not ivory balls in those days, Clive, were there? That's beyond that era, wasn't it?
Well beyond.
Yeah. Now, is he going to go into the bunch here? There is a red that he can play on. Yes, and that's what he's done. There's 2 reds that go at the bottom of the bunch here. That's a very well played shot, I think. Signs that he's just getting to grips with the table.
10.
Just gave that shot a little bit extra so he didn't fall short. He's got to play the most delicate of cannons here. Just grazed on the red.
18.
Just touched that red, didn't he, on the way through? And, I think he wanted to make sure that there was
25.
that red available at the bottom of the bunch. It's quite nicely done. But obviously after this one,
and you have to move something. And he's purposely played top side, so off the cushion into the bunch here. Well, again, that's with consummate control. He's on that bottom red, Clive.
Well, that was a very fine
33.
shot indeed. Cannoning the outside red to leave himself on this one. Very precise.
It's the kind of player he is, as I was saying. He's, you know, he plays with a lot of control, and it's all working. He's a very formidable player.
Thank you. 34.
Which kind of makes you understand, maybe, with the case of Ding, where he can be inconsistent, because when he hasn't got that control, it doesn't leave him with a great deal to fall back on. He's not known as the most wonderful potter, not compared to some, but his cue ball is absolutely
41.
immaculate.
Deliberately left himself on that red
42.
so that he could develop the bunch at the same time while having a shot as a colour.
A little bit of a slow burner this match, but you just feel it's starting to build up into a possible
44.
crescendo here. With both players upping their game somewhat.
45.
Ding's got the initiative at the moment, but Alan's turn will doubtless come.
Yes, and one more red needed is all.
52. $53.
So well over the winning line.
Yes, but wasn't it a delightful shot? All about playing it
59.
slowly with total control.
$66.
Played well in Preston in the World Grand Prix. Getting to the
67.
final, ultimately going the same way as everyone else did. On the wrong end of O'Sullivan at the top of his game. But other than that, he was showing real signs of a revival in his snooker.
I think he was a bit unlucky in Preston because it took him 4.5 grinding
74.
hours to beat Mark Selby in the semi-finals, and that definitely knocked some of the stuffing out of him
75.
to play O'Sullivan next day. O'Sullivan having had a day of rest after his semi-final.
$81. Dings and Wheat 81 on the front.
So with that 81 break, Dings and Wheat re-establishes the 2-frame lead. He leads up Mark Allen by 4 frames to 2.
Thank you. Frame 7. Dings and Wheat to break.
Ding leading by 4 frames to 2.
Well, there is a tempting long red here.
Problem is, cue ball could finish anywhere really in the middle of the table. He can't really get into the cue ball very much. He's trying to swing it wide, but still in the lap of the gods where it finishes, I think. He's missed the pot as well. Wasn't a nice shot to be left, actually.
He's been fortunate to leave the cue ball on the side cushion for Allen. Tough shot, and certainly no easier when you're trailing by a couple of frames.
Yes, and your opponent just making an 81 break in the previous frame and showing signs of really finding his touch. The last thing is to leave him straight back in. He'll be more than a little bit frustrated by that. He missed the pot by a long way, but it was the cue ball. He just couldn't get it back to bulk either.
7.
Tonight, and indeed in the last month or so, I think there's been more urgency, more fluency even in Ding's game than there has been for most of the season. He started the season all right, winning the World Open and in tandem with Liang Wenbo winning the World Cup for China, but then
12.
He went missing in mid-season. Series of surprising defeats, but then he's managed to
13.
reassert himself in the last month or so. Quarter-final of the German Masters, final of the World Grand Prix at Preston, and I think this is a pattern for Ding throughout his career. When the World Championship looms in sight, it seems to give him an extra intensity.
Yeah, that bad spell all come to a head, Clive, didn't it, when he lost in the UK Championship to Leo Fernandez, you know, a decent player, but not in Ding's class. There's no getting away from that. And not only that, Ding led 5-1 and was quite a long way in front of the next and lost 6-5. And that was a major shock, probably the shock of the season, I think.
Certainly a lifetime achievement for Fernandez, who's ranked around about 120.
18.
Well, one thing's for sure, he didn't play to finish there. The cue ball has just died when he hit it.
It
was miles away from where he wanted to be. Any consolation is he's played a half-decent safety shot. Anything Mark Allen will be relieved about is that error earlier. It didn't really cost him very much. I was going to say, you've got to hit that mighty thin.
Foul, the miss. Mark Allen 4.
Now from further up the table, and the shot that Ding was faced with, does he now play it? It's a dilemma. Cue ball's coming into the reds. It's an easier shot than the one that he was faced with, or Ding was faced with. It's not fun though, all the same. It's 50-50. Does he have it put back, or does he have a pop at this long red?
has no certainty of good position, far from it.
Well, now he wishes he had it put back. You can never be right until afterwards when you know what's happened.
One.
Applause from the other side of the arena signifies that Sean Murphy is now leading Karen Wilson 5-1.
Yeah, it's been a tough old day for Karen. He was still in Romania this morning. And he's managed to find his way from Bucharest right back to Llandudno in the space of half a day. His flight yesterday got cancelled, and after losing in the semi-finals. Probably been one of the longest days, anyway.
Seven.
What a golden chance to win another frame. Pink and black not being on won't concern him. He's a few in front already. Chip away. It's not very good though. He's going to go into another red here. Oh, that's
11.
a very good shot. I really like that. I mean, there was an element of control there, even though the shot was tough to hit the red half ball and come up the table like that.
$16. $17. Can you be quiet with them sweets, please? 22. King John Wee, 22.
Well, I don't know whether that half interruption put Ding off at all. I think one of the objectives of that shot was try to develop the pink and black, or at least pink or black.
That's a terrific top, and okay, he had safety there, but now that he's got where he has, the break continues, yellow to middle, and he's fairly close to winning another frame. Fairly low scoring frame with those big colours not on, and he has more work to do, but not a great deal more.
3. Four.
Lead is 46. 2 more reds will be enough.
9.
Red, colour red. And the frame is his. Flying Snookers.
$10.
No need to play on any reds near cushions here. That's nice. Well, as a right-hander, he can reach
50.
this. You couldn't have put it much better if you placed it there with your hand.
$60. King John Wee, 60.
Well, by missing that blue, Ding leaves Alan just the glimmer of a chance to pull this frame out of the fire, but it's not going to be easy.
No, and I saw Mark come out of his chair with a big puff of the cheek, thinking, well, I've got to carry on, but how on earth do I win it? Higher value colours are all out of the game. It's a horrible table to be 53 behind on 3 reds. Now he's got to take a lower value colour.
Alan has his support here. That gentleman wearing his heart not on his sleeve but on his midriff.
$6.
$47 the difference, 43 on. But pink and black both safe.
Thank you. Mark Allen, 6.
Ding not too bothered about the possibility of Alan potting that red with pink and black so safe.
Thank you.
So Alan now needs more than one snooker to tie.
Just wonder if he's thinking about dropping him behind the pink here and leaving him a chance of a free ball. I'm not saying it's the right shot, but he just might be thinking about it. He's in a lot of trouble in the frame because he drops points by not taking a colour if he does that. But then, of course, rolling the blue in, he's probably snookered on the red anyway. It's, whatever way you look at it, he's not in good shape. He's very much the second prize from, I think, this shot he's playing.
Mark Allen, 1.
Because there'll be no miss called if he does miss it, because the snooker's required stage. He needs just to make sure that if Ding does miss this, he doesn't leave a free ball. But I get the feeling if he does miss it, he's sure to leave one. As he drops just short of the red in front of it. Well, that's not much of an effort.
Foul. Mark Allen, 4.
Is it a free ball? That's
top, yeah.
Can he hit the extreme right-hand edge as he looks at it?
Well, I think he's been ordered a free ball there in the end. I think Ding, the effort he hit in that red was not wholehearted. He wanted not to leave a free ball, but he didn't do that either.
The free ball creates an extra red, in effect. But Alan failed to pot it.
Strange old passage of play, this.
Another snooker coming up, I would say.
It's not really any good to him where it's finished. He could have done with that red up against the brown so that there was another chance of a free ball. He won't leave one this time if he misses.
Foul. Mark Allen 4.
Well, he has missed, so Allen's still battling away.
Yes, he could have done without being hampered over the brown here. Mark was a bit disappointed where the ball ended up. Got to get some long tackle out and spider or something just to get the red up the table and sun the cue ball there, which won't be easy.
Still 38 adrift, with only 35 on.
If he could get to this, Clive, with the spider and all the equipment, then it's not impossible he could lay another one. But it's just one of these shots where you do with a step ladder or something, just to be able to reach.
Well, I guess the obvious shot, if he can play it or get to it, is to line cue ball, green, blue and red up. Put them in a straight line.
I just think the hard bit is actually finding a way of getting over the top of the brown. And then, as you say, I think that shot becomes on, Clive. He's had a minute and a half and he's not even got any of that equipment out onto the table yet that he's going to need. Well, starting to play again, so that tells me that he's not got a very nice shot. Ding's only got to hit it though, it's not quite the same for him.
It's bad.
He might be able to show him how it's done. Imagine if he gets all the stuff out and gets the snooker himself on Mark. He just can't get the height very easily. That's a good effort.
Thank you.
Didn't have an advantage because he was right-handed, because Mark Allen plays right-handed with the rest anyway. This is a great effort. Well, that is unlucky. Really good try.
If Allen does successfully lay a 4-point snooker, he would be black to win from the last red, pink to tie.
Yes, he's done pretty well to even get to this stage. Now he's got those three colours up the table, the green, brown and blue, all in a line. And if he could, maybe not this shot, but if he could find a way, getting the cue ball in behind those, he's very much in there with an outside chance. Whereas, of course, earlier on in the frame, he looked to have no hope where the balls were. It's one of those nights where every shot you can see a problem with, and that's what he's suffering from now.
Alan's still considering his shot, while on the other table Karen Wilson has pulled the frame back. Still trails 5-2 though to Sean Murphy.
Well, it's okay, but really knocking the blue away from there, he wanted that blue left in where it was. Big target to aim in behind.
One. Yeah. And the frame, Dington wins.
So the last red drops. Dington retakes the frame. He is 3 up with 4 to play. He leads Mark Allen by 5 frames to 2.
Good Mark. Thank you, frame 8. Mark Allen to break.
Allen 3 down with 4 to play.
Get the feeling this match has not been either player at the most fluent. Dingy's average shot time 20 seconds and Mark Allen 23. A few slow shots at the end of the previous frame. That's not slow by any standards. But I noticed the other night over in the Romanian Open, Judd Trump, when he played Luca Brecel, was under 12 seconds per shot for most of that match. Ended up exactly 12 seconds. Pretty lively, Clive, isn't it?
Indeed. Although Brecel offered very little resistance. He's had a major cue problem and he's really struggled the last couple of months.
Yes, be good to see how he gets on, actually. He's playing Neil Robertson, who they only ever met once before, and that was here in Llandudno. And of course, we've got the Rocket here tomorrow night. Ronnie O'Sullivan, he's playing. Graham Dott.
Winner to play the winner of this match.
Well, yes, just enough of the red sticking out to pot it.
One.
I agree with you, Neil. The match has become a little pedestrian the last few frames. First couple of frames were very lively.
One.
But the exchanges have slowed right down. Most of the exchanges, although in the last but one frame they were followed by an 81 break from Allen, and in the frame before that a break of 81 from Ding, in the frame before that 72 from Allen.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what he played. Put Mark Allen in trouble there. If he can nestle into the bunch, he might be able to do just a touch of left-hand side. That's okay. Well, Mark Allen did give himself every chance. He was up here on Saturday, a couple of days before. He really was giving himself every chance of playing well, but on the night it hasn't happened. Not yet, anyway. Still not over, by any means.
Thank you.
No, it's not over, but just at the moment it looks as if 100,000 points are going to come off Alan's total at the end of the week, and only 10,000 as a first round loser here are going to go back on. So that will have a big implication for his chances of avoiding the World Championship qualifying competition.
Well,
he was walking back to his chair. He believed that was going to drop in, that cue ball. I suppose you can't have it both ways, Clive. If you're going to win a big tournament, you've got to accept that at some point those points come off. But I understand that it's fairly untimely with the World Championships around the corner.
And it's not quite his last chance, because he is in the China Open, which is also a counting tournament.
6.
Yeah, the problem
7.
for someone like Mark for the China Open, if someone outside of the main group won it with that huge first prize, someone could leapfrog a number of players and end up being seeded at the Crucible.
Is it 250,000?
Yes, it's something like that, isn't it? 225 or something? A lot anyway.
Well, all he can do is stick to his game, stick to his method, fight it out to the last.
$30.
Yeah, just on that China Open, it's 225,000 for the winner. The runner-up 90,000. Final of that is best of 21, which I've not seen that distance before. This is a very difficult shot. Wouldn't be using the rest usually, just because he's queuing over the bunch.
Thank you. Mark Allen, 30.
Oh, he's looking suspiciously as if that drifted away. It might have done very slightly. As always, right jaw at best.
One. Thank you. Six.
Jing has won 5 of the last 6 frames. And if he gets the black back on its spot, his visit could be the coup de grace.
7.
No, I think he knew he had the yellow there as backup, but obviously played up onto the blue in the first place. Screw in reverse side on that red. It won't be that easy to get directly onto red from here. Oh, that is absolutely beautifully played, in fact. There wasn't a lot of leeway there he had to get to that red. And I think he's got the angle to get onto the black. That's perfect. Now we could be
10.
Close to the end of this match after that shot on the yellow.
Ding has made fewer unforced errors than Alan
70.
has this evening.
18.
I think his safety play has been just a little better.
Yes, and I think he's looked a little bit more dangerous in amongst them. He's got more acclimatised to the table,
25.
I think. He's not at his absolute best, but he's playing okay. A continuation of the form that we saw in Preston.
26.
Well, traditionally, Ding starts to play well towards the end of the season with the World Championship coming up. He's been in a final and a semi-final on his
33.
last 2 visits to the Crucible. I think he goes
34.
about things just a little bit more intensely in the latter part of the season, because the world title is his one remaining ambition. He's won practically everything else.
Yes, and of course it's been that man Mark Selby who stopped him on both of those occasions. He got some sort of revenge in the World Grand Prix, beating him in that semi-final.
$39. 40.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're read by the pink pots. If not, he's liable to play a little gentle cannon here. Oh, beautiful. That is a lovely shot.
47. $48.
Ding really does have beautiful close control around the pink and black.
Yes, Clive, in any colour, I'm just
53.
checking that out now, any colour is enough. After this red. It's not a good shot.
54.
That's a really poor shot. Most out of character. How did he finish there?
Well, he's potted the vital ball anyway. 49 in front.
61.
Only 43 left on.
Yes, it's not been vintage
He's
by any
away.
means.
61.
Darwin Snookers, he'll qualify for the next round. And I guess it's like anything else. While you're in the tournament, you can get better and you can go from strength to strength.
The match started sharply, but that hasn't been maintained. It's been a bit of a slog. But Ding has been the more consistent.
Okay.
Well, it looked as if he was going to leave a sitter. Ding still taking no chances. He's very mindful of the fact that one of the 2 remaining reds is right underneath the pink, ideally placed to lay a snooker behind the pink after Allen's gone red colour from the other red.
Yes, and he might just shift it here, actually. If I was Ding, I think I'd be looking to move that red out of play. Get it away from the pink, but he's not doing that. I'm a little surprised, actually. Why wouldn't you get the red and the pink apart?
Alan attempted to pot the red and stay on the black.
And this time he's getting the red away from the pink. And he's taking no risks there, and that's the right shot. Probably almost the final nail in the coffin for this match for Mark Allen.
Alan must be disappointed with how he's played.
One. Eight.
There's still a little bit of hope. Big target between
Allen, 8.
Where green and brown are. Could have avoided leaving the swerve, I suppose. He could have got into it more, but it's a tough one. Doesn't really want to pop red and black, he wants the red on the table. It would have to be a last option if he had no other shot that he would play that. Yes, he played exactly what he got there to wobble it and take the red up the table. It's quite a good shot.
So that is it.
On the match,
a disappointing evening for Mark Allen. A solid enough performance from Ding Junhui. Ding wins by 6 frames to 2 and will play either Ronnie O'Sullivan or Graham Dott in the quarterfinals.
So Ding Junhui will face, as he says, either Ronnie, who he, remember, lost to in the World Grand Prix in Preston, or Graham Dott, as he's into the quarterfinal on Wednesday night. A 6-2 victory over Mark Allen. We'll get some analysis on that after the break. Ding Junhui is into Wednesday's quarterfinals of the Players' Championship. 5-2 the manner of his win over Mark Allen. And across on table 2, well, it's very tight between Sean Murphy and Karen Wilson in that 8th frame. Very little between the two of them at the moment. We will keep you updated on that one as we go on. But I'm alongside Joe and Alan just to take a look at Ding Junhui's win. What did you make of it overall?
It was solid, if unspectacular, I think, by Ding. He'll be happy with the performance and the attitude. We spoke about that before it, that he has at times in recent seasons And in fact, this season as well, he's looked a little disinterested at times. That was not the case tonight. I thought he stuck to his task well. Mark Allen, it was an off night, we've got to be honest about that, but Ding will be quietly pleased with it, I think.
Yeah, how did you feel he constructed that victory, Joe?
Yeah, he sort of got stronger, whereas Mark Allen sort of got a bit weaker. Ding got stronger. He sort of sensed that there was a win there for him and sort of pushed on, and he did play the best snooker, and he sort of started to find his touch towards the end of the match. You know, trademark Ding positional shots started to come in, and yeah, he looked a bit more like sort of the Ding we know.
He got himself in front 3-1 when they came back out after the break, and Mark came back at him, and we wondered if we were going to see a resurgence from Mark Allen, didn't we?
Yeah, but you felt in that frame 4 when Ding eventually won it, you thought that you had the feeling that was going to be pivotal in the end, and in the end it was actually. But as Joe said, Ding was sort of bubbling away. He wasn't spectacular, but you always felt there was some good form to come from him, and it did show towards the end of the match, Joe, didn't it?
Yeah, if any of the players were going to sort of spring into life and take the game by the scruff, it was always going to be Ding. Mark, he played a nice frame 5, knocked a few balls in, but not enough to sort of fill him with confidence and really get him going, whereas Ding always looked the stronger of the two tonight. I
think we were both thinking that with Ding, as we're seeing here with his cue ball, it's always immaculate. That's the way he plays the game, but you've got to make him work for his chances. Tonight he wasn't being made to work. This was a nice shot, by the way. That's a sort of Ronnie O'Sullivan sort of type shot, deep screws, and a Sean Murphy kind of shot, but Ding was playing these well tonight, and when he's playing these properly, you're in trouble. Yeah,
and you could just sort of see the signs there. You know, you can see he's just getting absolutely top side of the blue, just perfect, and he sort of grew as the match went on, I think, and yeah, he looked pretty good at the end, I thought.
The pot success for both players below 90%, you know, unusual, really, but you know, certainly Ding played enough.
Yeah. I mean, as what we keep mentioning, there were signs, and we were seeing it even in the last frame here with Ding. Nice red with the rest, blue in and out of bulk, and he's playing actually in a choice of a couple of reds. He wants to land on the one nearest the pocket, but unfortunately doesn't get on it, but has to build again from there. And again, his cue ball off this yellow. He drops absolutely plumb on the red, and he was almost home and dry by then.
Yeah, and this is what Ding does. You know, when he gets his eye in, this is where he likes to be, and he's never more than an inch out of position.
26.
And like I say, he just grew into the match.
The funny thing about these little shots at the end, Ding, he makes it look that easy, but it ain't easy. You know, even that little shot, it's like you cannon the red full ball, you're nice on the next, but you can miss it half ball and you slide away and you're nowhere. But he makes it look so easy, even when he's not in top form.
I think Clive Everton made the point during the match. Ding came in looking to win this match with no pressure on him, you know, whereas Mark Allen needed to win it because, of course, he's seeking these ranking points.
Yeah, I think when you go into these matches, you try to put that to the back of your mind. You're thinking about the match you're playing rather than what's to come later on in the season. But there's no doubt it does creep in the subconscious, and it just generates that little bit extra pressure. And you know, I thought he just looked a bit negative tonight, Mark.
Yeah, I happen to think that Ding's a sort of guy who, in the lead up to the World Championship, he does tend to play better. He sort of focuses his mind, and his mind's more on the job. And I think we've seen some evidence of it tonight, as we did up in Preston a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so he's gone through 6-2. Across on the other table, Sean Murphy's in action against Kyron Wilson. We'll see the conclusion of this match. Sean Murphy was 5-2 up. Kyron Wilson's just got another frame back, Joe, just to put a bit of pressure onto him.
Yeah, he does what Kyron does. You know, he's called the warrior because he just keeps battling away. Sean has had a couple of half chances to put this match to bed, but you know, he's missed key balls, and Kyron's still in there fighting, and you just never know.
And Kyron, you know, he was in Bucharest this morning. I mean, he's fantastic that he's even got him here and be in this match. Got him here to be in this match.
I tell you what I think he is. He's developing himself a little reputation, being a right comeback merchant, and he's done it with Judd Trump 2 or 3 times recently, and there's signs of it happening again here against Sean Murphy. Sean's going to have to put this match to bed quickly.
Right, let's see the conclusion of this one then, because Neil Foulds is now alongside Phil Yates.
Thank you, Jill. Yep, it's a bit of a comeback here with Kyron winning that previous frame, and as we were making reference to earlier on, he's had a busy old day tremendous pot. That is brilliant. The fact that he started today over in Romania, lost in the semi-finals to Ryan Day, who went on to win that tournament, but couldn't get back yesterday. The flight was frozen off on the runway, and so it was a day longer in Bucharest than he really wanted, and ultimately you start the day in one country and you end up in another.
6.
Flew up to Liverpool. I believe his wife picked him up, and here he is. So Phil, he's had a busy old time of things.
What you're saying, Neil, is that there's no Bucharest for the wicked.
Well, I wasn't saying that actually, but I'll leave that one for you. It's not ideal, and he looked a bit weary at times. He's just finding second wind here. Difficult shot though, wasn't it?
The one thing I will say about Karen Wilson, he's made of the right stuff. There's no quit in him whatsoever. If anyone's capable of fighting back from this, it's him. And of course, with his back and neck issues, the more lengthy this match, the more uncomfortable Murphy might be.
Yeah, I must admit, I was watching him earlier on, and I was thinking that he looked like a little bit different at the table, like it really was bothering him, just the way he was queuing up. However, while I was watching him looking awkward, he knocked in 2 centuries. And I guess if you've got that cue action, you can overcome things like that.
6.
But for any sports person, but certainly in snooker, having a problem with your neck and your back, it's no fun, and it's not
7.
uncommon, put it that way.
Well, the tournament director here, who does a fine job all around the world in that capacity, is Martin Clark, whose career was abruptly ended because of neck issues when he was still very much a member of the world's top 32 and still a fine player.
$13.
Well, the ball's in fairly decent position. He's obviously going to have to get this bunch open soon.
20.
And like you say, I think he would like to get this match over soon as well.
21.
It's very difficult to get top side of the blue on that shot with that left-hand side on a new cloth. It doesn't really grip and take the cue ball as high as you want.
The reward for the winner of this is a quarter-final against John Higgins or Anthony McGill. And just as we're thinking about the possibility of getting over the winning line, Murphy
26.
sees a red he should have potted go astray. He really is uncomfortable, there's no doubt about it. And the longer this match goes on, I think the more vulnerable he'll become.
No, I think you're right. And one thing you know is when Sean Murphy's pulling out of tournaments, as he did in Gibraltar and tournament in Romania, then you know there's a problem because it's not his thing. He plays in everything. He certainly wouldn't want to let anybody down. He was defending his title in Gibraltar, and you knew that it wasn't. He wasn't looking to have a week off. It was because he had a problem.
Well, maybe fatigue rather than any kind of injury is affecting Karen Wilson, because he's not acquitted himself well this evening, it has to be said. But constant travel and competition is bound to weigh you down.
Yes, I mean, if he'd have won and got to the final, Kyron Wilson, they would have held his match over. They would have put it back. But it was one of those things where you can't get back if the plane can't take off, and that's the reason he's found himself in this position. Anyhow, if he really could do with the win as well after a couple of weeks away from the game, that is. Interested to know how much practice he's put in. He looks okay in amongst them.
Well, I spoke to Sean at length this afternoon, actually, right here in the arena. And he was saying that he was genuinely upset not to be able to go out to Gibraltar to defend the title, as you were talking about, Neil. And he also said that he's not been practicing a great deal because he simply can't, physically. So, all in all, I think the way he's played this evening thus far shines a lot of credit on him.
For one.
But also, you have to say, this is not Wilson at his sharpest. Nowhere near.
One.
Yeah, I think he looks a little bit in discomfort at the moment, doesn't he? There's Sean Murphy.
Six. Seven.
Oh, that's a good shot. Especially to finish with the right angle on the black to cannon into the remaining 7 reds in some way. Could be end of break though.
14.
He would have loved a really nice split there. Enough balls on the table to make a simple enough break to get over the line. And rest those aching joints, muscles, bones, whatever you like to call them. But the game doesn't work that way.
No, and of course, the World Championships coming up, 17 long days. It's not going to be much fun if you've got an issue. I did read that he had a problem when he got to the final a couple of years ago with, well, on the morning of the final he was really struggling. He was thinking about, there was even across his mind to pull out of his match with Stuart Bingham. I think Bingham was the best player that year. He was the rightful winner. So I would never take anything away from him.
John
Beat
Murphy,
everybody when he
14.
won it. But in the final, Sean claimed he had problems. I'm sure he's absolutely right. One of those things, I'm afraid. I remember Chris Small having very serious problems, had to pull out of a match at the Crucible.
Yes, he was trailing 7-1 and realised he just couldn't continue.
Yes, and it virtually ended his career, didn't it? He's a coach now in Scotland. Very good player back in the day. This is quite a difficult one now. He's so far under the cushion that he hasn't really got a shot to get the cue ball back down there. He can't dig into it and get in behind the black in any way. is not very safe, is it? Trying to push the red, no doubt, further up the table than that. It's not an easy red that he could play. It's the top left pocket. The one in the middle looks even more difficult to me. Well, it was difficult, but didn't he play it well? I think that would have been my second choice of the two. There you are, beautiful cueing. It never looked like missing when he struck it.
Yes, the tariff of the pot was definitely the higher of the two, but I think he played it because it gave him pretty much guaranteed position, and now he should be in to win.
5.
Yes, he wants to put this match away right now. No more shenanigans here, losing frames and match getting a little bit tasty. He doesn't want any of that.
6.
Let's assume he wins. I think he would gain an awful lot of satisfaction from this, because it's been a real examination tonight of mind and body.
12.
Yes,
19.
a very good performance, and I suppose I was saying, watching this match with
20.
in the studio, Joe Perry made a good point earlier on that he may have a few problems, but he's such a wonderful cueman that you can get away with having a few issues if he hit the ball as beautifully as Sean does, and maybe his technique has shone through. There's other problems
27.
tonight. I think that was a good point he made, actually.
28.
And I'm very proud of his record as a professional, so he'll be looking for a bit of recovery time, and who knows how far it could go. The champion of champions, of course, this season was Sean, beating Ronnie in the final.
33.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
John Murphy, 33. The frame.
Murphy is through by a score of 6 frames to 3.
Well, they looked a little uncomfortable at times, but it was a comfortable victory in the end for Sean Murphy. 6-3, he's through to the quarter-finals after that win over Karen Wilson. We'll get some reaction to that one in a couple of minutes. Sean Murphy is the second man into the quarter-finals of this year's Players' Championship here in Llandudno, with a win over Karen Wilson, 6 frames to 3. And he's stepped in now. And Sean, first of all, just how are you doing? Because we couldn't help but see you're in a bit of discomfort out there. I know you've been struggling with the shoulder.
Yeah, really badly. I've not really hit a ball since the Welsh Open nearly 3 weeks ago. And, you know, I had to pull out of the Gibraltar Open. I was defending that tournament. I couldn't go to Romania last week. I've never pulled out of a tournament in my life. And, you know, it's been bad. I've had this problem with my sort of back and neck for some time now, you know, years and years. It usually comes for a few days, says hello, gets a bit of treatment from the physio, and off it goes and leaves me alone. But I've had this now for some weeks, and it's caused me a lot of problems.
Yeah, it's a worry. But, you know, you got yourself into a match against Karen Wilson there, 5-1 at one point. You know, obviously, despite the discomfort, you're able to play here.
Yeah, listen, I surprised myself because apart from 2 half-an-hour practice sessions today, I haven't hit a ball for 3 weeks. Just been unable to. You know, I've been at home and with a few days to spare. Normally, I'd immerse myself on the practice table. I'd love it, but I haven't been able to hit a ball. So I think you perhaps come to a tournament like this with no expectations and play with a bit of freedom. And in parts, I actually played all right. You know.
Well, let's have a look at some of your shots. So this is how you won the match in the 9th frame.
Yeah, I mean, you can see just by my setup there, my elbow's way out. That's because of my thing. I can't really get down to these shots properly, although, you know, it was a nice little shot there. And this was a shot. I sort of half went for this because I know that that's a chance to win, and if I don't go for it, you'll all slaughter me for not standing up and going for the shot. So you have to go for that.
The thing about I think the thing about a 3-week layoff, it's almost in this day and age, that's a closed season, isn't it? Because when would you never play for 3 weeks?
Never.
Well, that's what
I've probably not had 3 weeks off for, since I was a kid, and got banned from playing for being naughty, But yeah, it's one of those. I watched every ball of the Gibraltar Open through a kind of bitterness. Twisted on the couch, really annoyed with myself. Made myself watch every ball, and was dying to get on the practice table just to hit some balls. But as I say, I haven't hit any, and I was just probably lucky in the end. I had a bit of a good run as well.
Well, I don't think you make your luck, but Joe, you know what it's like to play carrying a bit of an injury. I mean, he's done not too bad for a man that's
fantastic.
Been unable to get out of his house for 3 weeks.
Yeah, brilliant. And I think sometimes the expectation is something we all put on our shoulders, isn't it? And to not have any, like you say, you've just gone out there. Lovely to start the match with a century. That must have helped.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was thinking, they're all going in. What's going on?
Well, I said to Neil that the fact that you have got such a straight cue action, you do hit the ball so good. Means you probably don't have to practice as much as some other players, even though you probably do. You can get away with having the odd week off here and there.
Yeah, maybe. And I think in the last few months, I've been open about it. I've been on a journey of trying to change a few things, tweak a bit of technique, and perhaps the sort of 3-week off has done me a favour because it's sort of enabled me just to forget about that and go back to basics and just play. Sure, I don't know. It would have, Kyron's such a class player. I think a major champion in the making. I don't think it'd be long before he wins one of the big
How worried were you at 5-3, from 5-1 to 5-3? Because I mentioned that he's got a bit of a reputation now. He's good at coming back into matches from... he's done it with Judd Trump recently a few times, hasn't he?
Well, I know his game very, very well. He plays at my old club in Northampton, where I used to be resident there, and I practice with him quite a bit. We know each other pretty well, and I knew that he wasn't going to give up. He was going to go for his shots. He started cracking them in off the break-off, and you think, here we go. I did get a chance to win the match at 5-2. I missed an easy blue to the yellow pocket with the reds everywhere. So if I had have lost, at least I could have said I had a chance, but... Fortunately, it didn't happen.
You've got till Friday to sort of rest up again and see what you can do. I mean, what are the plans?
I think normally, I would be with that big a gap, I'd be going home. But with my problems with my neck, the journey, I just don't fancy sitting in the car for 3-4 hours there and back. So I think I'm just going to encamp here and see what physio treats Llandudno has to offer. If there are any good physios out there, now's your chance.
Salt water's good for it.
Salt water.
Get yourself in there.
Can't wait to go in the sea.
It's a little bit chilly, but I'm sure. I think the way you're feeling at the minute, you'd probably try anything to try and get it sorted.
You go, I'll go.
We'll put a camera on that. Listen, we wish you all the very best, Sean. We'll see you on Friday. Coming up after the break, though, we've got some classic archive to look forward to, featuring these two. Can you spot who they are? And of course, we'll be looking ahead to tomorrow's action too. Well, just before the break, we teased you with what we've found in our archives. We've looked long and hard, Neil, to get some action of you.
It's not much, is there?
Well, plenty. This is one of the best, though, we thought. Yeah. And I know Jimmy will be watching.
Jimmy White's watching. I just text him, say it's on. He's on it. He's onto it. He's watching. Jimmy is.
Well, he's going to enjoy this. Well, I think he will. It's the 1987 British Open final, and the Assembly Rooms in Derby. Of course, it's our very own Neil Foulds up against Jimmy White, and we're going to join it at the start of the 22nd frame.
Jimmy White to break.
So Jimmy White breaks off in frame 22, still needing just one frame for victory in this final. And a very good afternoon he's had. And Neil Foulds with it all to do, has to win every frame left in the match.
tremendous red there from Jimmy, but this is certainly a tough black. Cue ball right on the cushion.
Jimmy White, 1.
It looks as if Neil is contemplating leaving the cue ball at the top end of the table, but I thought there was every chance of him leaving a red on should he do that. And certainly a red on into the middle, one on into the top right-hand corner pocket. So should be able to collect quite a few points here.
Six. Seven.
Well, this pink
13.
spot's covered. And he's got a terrible kick there.
14.
It was to his advantage to have the pink on the black spot. It got a bad contact and didn't run through onto the pink.
Still managed to pot
20.
the pink, but the position is completely lost now. Well, if anybody can retrieve the situation, it's Jimmy White. The greatest potters in the game.
$27. 28. $32. $33.
Had a look to see if the red there just in front of the pink will pot into the right corner pocket. If it doesn't, he's got the one that's closest to
35.
the pocket. Well, he's got a choice there.
36.
Pink and black not in favourable position, so having to concentrate on the blue.
$41.
Jimmy now 42 points in front. And that
42.
winning post getting ever nearer.
$47. $48.
I think the pink's available this time. Yeah, plenty of room there. And hasn't he played well this afternoon?
$54.
Taking on the pink into the middle pocket. If that goes in, Neil Folds requires snookers.
$61.
I think this might be a plant double. Oh, the other red got in the way.
Jimmy White, 61.
59 points on the table, but 62 points the difference.
Going back to Neil Folds, what a fantastic week he's had here. He's made both the highest breaks, a break of 140 and also a break of 134. So he's played some fantastic snooker.
$8.
And all is not lost yet. If he can knock the long red in, the one to the right of the pink, and come back for the black. Easily pot the black and the red behind it with another black, and then that red next to the pink's in an ideal position for a snooker.
$16. $17.
And has obviously played to leave himself in position to play
24.
the snooker. Just requires one snooker.
New balls, 24.
I've got the snooker, but not quite as difficult as it might have been.
Neil doesn't really want to pot the red unless he can get the pink or black off it. And that would be some shot.
Well, that has put the outcome beyond any reasonable doubt, I would suggest. So it's Jimmy White who becomes the 1987 Dulux British Open champion.
7.
And how tremendously he's played today.
10.
There's Jimmy collecting the British Open title trophy in Derby. We don't see the runners-up presentation, sadly, Neil, but he's always a tough man to beat, Jimmy. Jimmy, you know, class act, top to bottom.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, and he still can play the game, you know. The only thing I remember that whole tournament, I played Tony Knowles in the semi-final, right? And he turned up and he had no trousers. He forgot to bring his trousers.
Hang on, he arrived with no trousers on?
Yeah, all he had was his waistcoat. And when he brought the suit out, the trousers had fallen off and all he had was a waistcoat. So he had no trousers. And I don't know what happened, but I think he had to borrow some or wear jean bottoms or something.
I'm pretty confident he didn't. I mean, you put something on. You were just saying when we were watching that you've still got that cue.
Yeah, still got it. Yeah, I don't play very much at all actually, but yeah, I've still got the same cue.
What about the suit?
Well, I might have it, but I'll tell you what, I couldn't get anywhere near it now, as you probably knew already.
Well, we enjoyed that, though. Did you pick any hot shots out there, Alan?
Oh, there was a couple, but they were all from Jimmy.
Yeah,
Gosh, listen, it was very nice to see you in action there and looking very dashing around the team.
Thank you very much.
Now, obviously, we heard from Sean Murphy after his win over Karen Wilson. Earlier, of course, we saw Ding Junhui with that good win over Mark Allen. And Ding, we can get some reaction from him now.
Ding, a really pleasing way to start the tournament.
Yes, I have many lucky shots to take in frames, and also I play well. I'm feeling good. It's the first frames. I feel that the whiteboard doesn't run fast, so I'm trying to get more points to win it, to have a lead in. You know, best of 11. It's last year's best of 9, so it's better be go ahead before the sessions.
It was a very tough opening match against the reigning Masters champion, but you came through with flying colours.
Yes, I feel he doesn't play that quite good tonight. You know, some days you don't get that feelings. Everyone gonna happen, but tonight I just play better than him, so I get a chance.
And finally, next up, it's either Graham Dott or Ronnie O'Sullivan, so it could be a repeat of the World Grand Prix final.
Yeah, that was I'm bad in that final, so it's only like Ronnie shows in the second half. So I'm looking forward to play Ronnie again. I don't know who's going to win it, so just wait, have a good day here in Latino, and have a good practice and waiting for the next match.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, maybe that good win over Mark Allen. Neil, what did you make of that one?
I thought he played okay. You know, Mark must be disappointed with how he played tonight. I think he was here Saturday, you know, great expectation, but Dean's got through, and it could be him and Ronnie. Obviously, Graham Dott might have something to say about that.
And we've got Ryan Day in action tomorrow. He's up against Mark Selby, Alan, but Ryan's hit a bit of form, hasn't he?
He's a man in form. He's, excuse me, he's won 3 events now this season, the last 2 in the spin, something like 11 matches in there as well. So a different dynamic to that match than there would ever be over the last 5 or 6 years. And you could argue that Ryan Day may even be favourite with the former Mark Selby.
World #1, though, in action. He's going to hit some form at some point.
Yeah, you'd think so. And obviously he's a specialist at these longer frame tournaments. So, yeah, I see what Alan's saying. I think probably the best time for Ryan to play Mark, but he's world #1. You know, he loves these long frame matches, and he'll be up for this. Knowing how well Ryan's playing, it'll probably give him that little bit more drive.
OK, here's how they line up then. Tomorrow afternoon, of course, as we say, Ronnie and Graham Dott in action tomorrow night. But in the afternoon, we have Welshman Ryan Day taking on the world #1 Mark Selby, and fellow countryman Mark Williams facing Yan Bingtao, 12:45. Thanks to the guys, Neil, Alan and Joe. Welcome to the party. We'll see you tomorrow, 12:45.